Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our regular friends, members from the media, let me warmly welcome you to this press conference, a very special press conference. Why it's very special is that after a couple of years, a proper under-16 rugby tournament is in the offing, courtesy Central Province Rugby Football Union and well supported by apex body in Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka Rugby. The purpose of this press conference is to brief the public through the media of the nature of the tournament and also make this occasion a moment where our valued sponsors hand over their sponsorship for under-16 tournament.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, especially from the head table, my deputy, Mr. Nalin, and also Jamaldeen, who's the secretary. Mr. Hettiarachchi is on the way, and then the big thanks for Nippon Paint. Always we have reached out together, and they have given the comfort zone for Sri Lanka Rugby to bring a cloud of sponsors. The crowd of sponsors who have been with us together is Kotumi, Siddha Leper, WebExpay, Sports, Gajaba TV just come in. It's a big breakthrough for our broadcasting rights, which we have been looking for a partner with sports ads also. And if I have not forgotten who are the other sponsors, there's so many, Prima, Kotumi, and also WebExpay. So, okay, anyway, gentlemen, let us make this a short speech. What we came here is to give the presence of Sri Lanka Rugby to see what tournaments we do. This under-16 tournament has been happening before, but we are very thankful for Kavinda, the president of the Central Province, to put this tournament together. He has done a tremendous lot of work getting all the top schools, almost about 30 schools. We are looking at 450 students taking part in a 2-day program. Which will lead for these students to be selected for the Olympic under-18, which is happening this year in August. So this also would be a selection process with their tournament going on. I will have to be thankful to the press. With all the obstacles, all the dilemmas that we have faced, press has been right behind for the sports and rugby. Whatever there has been negative report or positive, you all have rightfully backed us up. And we have, with good governance, SLR with good governance, we have also gone ahead in the right way. Though there are a few people who should be seated in the head table. Mr. Shane Dulaver, who is our co-chairman, sports, is there. Our director, Samrat Fernando, is also here. And Mr. Anna Vijay from India, he is in India helping the Indian Rugby Board. A tremendous personnel who came and helped us in the sevens. He was the, I can call him the court marshal, not court marshal, the ground marshal. Very tough character, but he takes his job as a passion. On a request that for him to be here, he is here looking at how we can do other tournaments in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. I also apologize for the slight delay. As usual, it's a little bit of a Sri Lankan style, but our matches all start on time. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. President Sri Lanka Rugby and the committee, sponsors, main sponsor, co-sponsors, media invitees. As Mr. President said, this was one of our committee dream to organize a schools junior tournament. I mean, past couple of years, rugby has been very poor, especially the school rugby in at Central Province. So, with the help of Sri Lanka Rugby, we managed to organize under 14 and under 12 tournament last year, somewhere in September and November. But this was one of our main targets because, as you know, under-16 tournament have not happened in Sri Lanka after 2018. So this was going to be a booster for all the schools, especially for under-16 students who have been missing rugby because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I believe that it's going to be a massive event because it was one call away when I spoke to Mr. President. He said he's going to help us in doing it. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. President and his committee, Nippon Paint for coming in as the main sponsor, and all the other sponsors for coming in as co-sponsors. And I hope and believe that we are going to do a massive event. And I invite every one of you to come and join hand with us to support the students and to support Central Province Rugby, to develop rugby in Central Province. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President and members of SLR, and of course the members of the head table and fellow sponsors, and especially the media. As Nippon Paint embarked on supporting rugby for the second year now in the league, we're extremely happy with the outcome of as a sponsor. and of course as a supporter of rugby. And I must also thank the media for giving us extensive coverage for the rugby matches and players, clubs. So it's a massive support in terms of creating. I know rugby has always been a very big spectator sport in Sri Lanka, but we need to get the spectators who are supporting rugby in a big way back into watching rugby. So I think as media, you have a huge task ahead in getting the very popular sport rugby into that height of its glory. Well, as a sponsor, it's the first time we are embarking on, well, when you say under 16, it's all to do with schools. Most of all of them are school-going children. So we are happy to be part of helping schools, our younger generation also, to showcase their skills and making sure they get enough and more exposure in big tournament atmospheres and hone their skills for the next level, which is going to be their under 19 or under 20 school season. So must thank the Central Province for organizing something, but I think it's not only Central Province, all schools around the island will come and participate, although tournament is held in Central Province. So giving all main schools opportunity for their, we can call the under 16 more or less the second 15 or the second tier teams to come and showcase their talents and make sure that they are all ready, as I said before. And we, as a sponsor, Nippon Paint Lanka is always happy to support the youth, young budding youth, and also sports. So let's see whether all our budding youth showcase their talent, come forward and make rugby proud and their schools proud and ultimately Sri Lanka proud. So as Sri Lankans, we always want our children to come up, our youth to come up, and as also, of course, to do well in our sports. So thank you again, SLR, for giving us the opportunity to be part of rugby. And Nippon Paint, as usual, will always support rugby in Sri Lanka. Thanks.
Thank you, Mahesh. Lady and all the other sponsors, as well as my colleagues who are on the head table, media, other friends who are here, thank you very much. අයිබෝවන් සියලු දෙනාටම. අපි සිංහලෙනුත් කතා කරන්නම් ඉදිරි මේ press conference එක යන අතරතුරේ. As we all know, the children are the backbone of any nation. We all have played rugby as during our school days. As children, we have taken part in rugby in a very big way, and we really enjoyed all this particular tournament organized by the Central Province, as all said by Kavinder. It will be a sort of, it will take a new sort of turn, because this is happening after 3 years. All these years, the schools have organized this particular tournament, but we are now, thanks to Mr. Rizli Ilyas, our president, he has called upon 6 sponsors. It's not an easy task. As I always say, for all these tournaments to take part in a big way, you need money. So thank you very much, sir, especially our title sponsor, Mr. Nemanta Ambesinga. Yes. Mahesh told sir that he's going to paint his house with Nippon. I will make sure that my car is painted, because all over the world, all the cars are, the majority of the cars are painted by Nippon. So it's media has to understand.
No business. No sponsorship.
Okay. So then Kotumi, Gajaba TV, Webex, Siddhalepa Madam, thank you very much. And Sportsad, thank you very, very much. And we know the children, right, taking into rugby as a team game, they are going to learn a lot of life skills for the rest of their life through rugby. And the beauty of this whole thing is, once they take part at top level, they will not forget the team spirit that they had, the discipline, whatever all the things that they learn through rugby. And I must say, there will be with the participants 450, as the president said, 450 children taking part in this tournament. Then the officials, the referees, the parents, the master in charge, everybody. There will be about 3,000 on this day or 2 days to enjoy rugby. And just to say something about Sri Lanka rugby, as we know, the main tournament is going on at the moment. The Nippon Paint League tournament is going on. We are going to have the cup championships end of this week. Then the Nippon Paint League Plate Champions is also running parallel to that. Then again, running parallel to those two tournaments, Nippon Paint Women 10-a-side tournament is running. Then from the 5th of February, while the other tournaments are going on, there are all the 9 provinces are taking part. The please media have to take a note of this. All the 9 provinces are taking part. I will just mention about the 15-a-side Nippon Paint rugby tournaments parallel to all these tournaments. So altogether about 16 tournaments are going on, running parallel to each other for the first time in history of Sri Lankan rugby. First time in history of Sri Lankan rugby. 15 parallel tournaments are going. Thanks to the tournament director, Mr. Shamrathanan is there. It's not an easy task. And finding money is also not an easy task. I will just mention, Western Province is going to have six teams. Sabaragamu another 6 teams. Eastern Province another 6 teams. Uva Province 8 teams. Southern Province another 4 teams. Then Central Province, North Central Province, North Western Province, and Northern Province. Northern Province. They are going to field 3 teams in this particular thing, which is going to run from 5th of February to 5th of March. So altogether 36 teams are playing in the provinces from early February. That is almost about 100 games. It's not an easy task. So taking that burden, Mr. President is doing a hectic task. As Mahesh pointed out, it's not an easy task to find sponsors in these days. So we are developing about, all in all, more than 5,000 to 6,000 players taking part in all these tournaments. So thank you very much, gentlemen, lady and gentlemen, thank you very much.
මාධ්‍යයට තිබෙන ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න පුළුවන්.
So mention about that tournament, 15-a-side tournament. Is it going to be a provincial tournament or?
Yeah, it's a provincial tournament.
So there are teams from each province.
Each province.
They're going to play all the.
They are playing intra-province.
Okay.
Then at the end of the tournament, we are playing inter-province. That is all the 9 provinces. We will select the best team from each province. Then we are going to have an inter-province. Before that, all these 36 teams will be having 100 games intra-province.
Within their province.
Within their province.
President Ilyas, you mentioned that the under-16 tournament that is going to be held in the coming days, it will be a selection tournament for the Youth Olympics.
What I would like to say is there will be under-16 schools tournament for the under-18 Youth Olympics. But these players will get an opportunity to showcase. So the selectors, we will ask them to be there. But what they do is normally even selectors now when the tournament is going on the 15-a-side, they are in the process of selecting the 7th players. You know, because we don't have special 7th tournament. So this will be a window for them.
But Mr. Ilyas, the Youth Olympics next is scheduled in 2026.
Not Youth Olympics, it's Youth Commonwealth Games in August. මම පළවෙනියෙන් මේ වයස 10න් 15 මේ පැවැත්වෙන තරගාවලිය ගැන කියන්නම්. ඒක 25 සහ 26 එන මාසේ ඒ කියන්නේ පෙබරවාරි මාසේ නුවර පල්ලේකැලේ පැවැත්වෙන්නේ. පාසල් 30ක් සහභාගී වෙනවා 10න් 15 පිරිමි. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක විශේෂයෙන්ම අදහස් කෙරුවේ රග්බි යූනියන් එක මේක කරන්න මොකද ගිය අවුරුදු 3 වගේ කිසිම තරඟාවලියක් පැවැත්වෙලා නැහැ අවුරුදු 16න් 15ට. විශේෂයෙන් රිස්ලි මහත්මයා ඒක ගැන දිගටම කතා කෙරුවා. එතකොට මිස්ටර් කාවින්ද ජයසේන සභාපතිතුමා මධ්‍යම පළාතේ රග්බි යූනියන් එකේ එකඟ වුණා මේක ලොකු වැඩසටහනක් වුණත් ඒකට සහයෝගය දක්වලා කරන්නම් කියලා. එතකොට අපිට මේ ස්පොන්සර්ස්ලා මෙතන ඉන්න ස්පොන්සර්ස්ලා ඔක්කොම සහයෝගය දෙනවා. ඒකට විශේෂයෙන්ම නිපොන් පේන්ට් තමයි අපිට ඉදිරියෙම ඉන්නේ. එතකොට ඊට පස්සේ ළමයි 450ක් මේකට සහභාගී වෙනවා. මුළු දිවයිනින්ම හැමතැනින්ම හැම ප්‍රොවින්ස් එකකින්ම පාසල් මේකට ඇතුළත් වෙලා තියෙනවා පාසල් 30ක්. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් මේකෙන් අපි ඇත්තටම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ කලින් කීවාසේ youth commonwealth games එක තියෙනවා පොදු රාජ්‍ය මණ්ඩලීය games වයස 18න් 15 අගෝස්තු මාසේ 2023 පැවැත්වෙන්නේ වෙස්ට් ඉන්ඩීස් වල තියෙන්නේ ට්‍රිනිඩාඩ් ඇන්ඩ් ටොබැගෝ වල තමයි පැවැත්වෙන්නේ. ඒකට පෙරහුරුවක් හැටියට එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒකට සංචිතයක් තෝරා ගැනීම සඳහා තමයි මේ අවස්ථාවත් එකක් අපි උදා කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ මේ විශේෂයෙන් මේ තරඟාවලිය හරහා. මොකද මම මේ වෙලාවේ මතක් කළ යුතුයි පාසල් රග්බි සංගමය යටතේ තමයි මෙච්චර දවස් මේ ක්‍රීඩාව පැවැත්ුණේ 16න් 15 මෙතන ඉන්නවද පාසල් රග්බි සංගමේ කවුරු නියෝජිතේ අපි ආරාධනා කරුවා එන්න කියලා. අද මොකද්ද තව වෙන උත්සවයක් තියෙනවා කියලා කිව්වා. ඔව් ඒක තමයි. එතුමා මේකේ සභාපතිතුමා පාසල් සංගමයේ මේ දැන් දවස් කිහිපයකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා විශ්‍රාම ගියා. අපි එතුමාටත් ආරාධනා කරුවා එන්න කියලා. එතකොට දැන් ඒ පාසලෙන් මේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ප්‍රශ්න වගේක් තිබුණ නිසා වසංගතය, කොවිඩ් වසංගතය සහ අනිකුත් ප්‍රශ්න අපිට ඇති වුණ නිසා එයාලට ස්පොන්සර්ස්ලා වගේක් නැතිව ගිහින්ද අපින් ඇත්තටම හවර ඉස්ලෙව්සර්ගිනුත් අහලා තිබුණා. ඉතින් අපි ඉතාමත් ගරු කරනවා මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා රග්බි එකට මේක බාර අරගෙන මේ විදිහට ස්පොන්සර්ස්ලා අරගෙන කරන එකට.
පාසල් ප්‍රධාන තරඟාවලිය හා මේක මේ එකට නෙමෙයි යන්නේ වෙන
නෑ. මේක අපි ඇත්තටම ඒ කියන්නේ වයස 16න් 15 තරඟාවලියක් හැටියට තමයි මේක යන්නේ. පාසල් අනිකුත් වෙන පාසල් සංගමයෙන් කරන ක්‍රීඩාවලිය වලට මේක සම්බන්ධ නැහැ. මේ එයාලට උදව් වුණොත් අපි ඇත්තටම ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා කරන්න තව ඉදිරියට මොන හරි උදව් ඕන නම් ඒක අපේ සභාපතිතුමා පැහැදිලිවම ප්‍රකාශ කරලා තියෙනවා පාසල් සංගමයට අවශ්‍ය නම් මොන හරි උදව් තියෙනවා නම් අපිට කියන්න කියලා අපි ඒක මව් සංගමයේ හැටියට අපි ඒක නොපිරලාම ඉටු කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තුෙන් ඉන්නවා.
රග්බි සෙවන්ස් තරගාවලිය හැටියට මේක යන්නේ නේ.
ටෙන සයිඩ් හැටියට ඒ කියන්නේ 10 දෙනෙක් එක පිළකට සමාජ වෙන හැටියට තමයි යන්නේ ටෙන සයිඩ් හැටියට යන්නේ. සමාන හත් සමාජික නෙවෙයි එක පිළකට 10ක් සහභාගී වෙනවා.
ලීග් තරගාවලියක් පැවැත්වෙන්නේ
ගෲප් වයිස් දවස් දෙකක ටූර්නමන්ට් එකක් අන්තිමට කොහොමද ඒකේ තරගාවලිය
පළවෙනි දවසේ මැචස් ටික ගෲප් වයිස් ගහගෙන වටකට ඊට පස්සේ නෝමල් ටූර්නමන්ට් රූල් එක යන විදිහට පහුදා උදේ පටන් ගන්නවා ක්වාටර් ෆයිනල්ස් වලින්. ඊට පස්සේ සෙමි ෆයිනල්ස් ෆයිනල්ස්.
අන්තිමට චැම්පියන් කෙනෙක් හැම චැම්පියන් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා මේ කියන්නේ.
So top 2 in the group, is it? Top 2. Yeah.
Round robin.
Basically cup, plate, ball, shield. ඔය හතරට තමයි.
හතරට.
Is there going to be a draw?
Draw will be out after 10th of February.
10 වෙනිදාන් පස්සේ ඩ්‍රෝ එක නිකුත් කරනවා අපි සියලුම මාධ්‍යයන්ට.
පල්ලේ කැලේ මොන ක්‍රීඩාවක්ද
Trinity College Rugby Stadium.
ත්‍රිත්ව විද්‍යාල රග්බි ස්ටේඩියම් එකේ තියෙන්නේ.
Yeah, just one question. What is the cut-off date for the under 16?
That is schools to confirm.
Fund?
Schools to confirm. Or the
No.
age limit.
Age?
2023 under 16. The born year would be 2007 and 2008.
2007?
Yeah. 2008.
So which means that last year because there was not been any under 16 rugby. People who could have played under 16 did not get that opportunity. Are they included in the 2007?
We can't include them because they are doing their O levels this year. So most of the students are reluctant to participate for training. So that's why we concentrate on 2023.
Yeah, just one question. How is the school section going to be involved in this? Or will they be getting involved?
They only gave us the blessings to take to go ahead with this tournament. We are the one who are running this whole tournament.
Kavin just sent me a message. Any of the sponsors, any of the press people who want to go and stay in Kandy can give your names early. He will arrange accommodation and everything. Yeah. Just we will arrange. For SLR, we will arrange accommodation and arrangements for you all to stay. If you all give your names and other details, transport we cannot bear the cost of it. But if you all want to stay and report going on Sunday and coming back Saturday and coming back on Sunday, SLR will accommodate you all in a nice place for you all to go and cover this tournament.
With regards to the tournament, President, now the Asia Games are coming up. So any progress towards getting sponsors sorted or the players? Because the ministry has clearly said that they will only send medal prospects to the games. So we need to come up to a certain standard so that we will be, playing nation to become a medal prospect. Any plans on that?
I don't want to take focus of this under-16 tournament, but I'll answer your question. Last week we had a meeting with the selection committee, Mr. Arjun Fernando, myself and Nalin was engaged with that selection. They are looking at our national side to represent the men's side. They said definitely they will, because the ministry has to give permission to it's an Olympic tournament, and they will give. And they asked us what are the shortcomings that we have. We have spoken to them. So I can tell you at this moment, definitely the men's 7 side will take part in that tournament.
Women's is out of the question. Women's side is out of the.
Women's considering, because at the moment we are running, because they didn't have a structure for a local tournament. So only now we are running, thanks to our chairman and our director. They have put up a structure that they play a game before every A division match. So we just started the first round, so we'll be going. So we need to justify, and I think we as SLRFU has to be honest whether this side can go and compete at that level. So without just sending a blind side, we should go through and have a fact-finding mission and ask whether this side should really participate, which has been very weak for the last 2 years because of COVID, and we didn't have a local structure for them.
Thank you very much. And now our last item in the agenda is handing over of the checks.